Pandemonium Reigns.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Welcome to Pandemonium Reigns. I'm Dan. He's Mike. I'm pretty. He's beautiful. Mike's over there tempting me with a good time. Did you have a good Thanksgiving, bro?
Had a great Thanksgiving. How about yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a
Good.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we had one. It's over.
Yeah, it is over.
You know what else is over?
Regular season's over for Tennessee.
Well, I was going to say Vandy's season, period. But
yeah, good call. That's a better call. That's a brighter note than the regular season being over for Tennessee.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to say one thing before we start talking the Vols. And I just want to tell Kirk Herbstreit to eat it.
Eat it. I don't know if he was serious or not with that Tennessee's going to lose to Vanderbilt or not. I don't know if he was trying to make a bold prediction, a hot take for TV, or if he was legitimate with that. I mean, heck, I thought Vandy would give a much better fight than they did.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he can eat it still. He's been wrong about Tennessee for Florida. He's been wrong about Tennessee for Alabama. For Georgia, where he actually picked Tennessee, and then he made that statement about Vanderbilt. Again, who knows if he was legit or not. I'm wondering if you picked Pitt or Tennessee at this point. You know what I mean? Because he's legit a solid 0-4 on the Vols.
I don't remember. The Pitt game feels like years ago.
Does it feel like Johnny Majors played in that game rather than being the classic in his name?
It does, yeah. And General Nealon coached it, I'm pretty sure.
I've got that same feeling. I don't even know when or who that was.
I don't know who General Nealon was?
No, I'm sorry. Who the teams in that game were.
Gotcha.
The players in that game, Hooker and Tillman. Gosh, man. A different time.
Yeah. Hey, well, we're all going to pretty much set this up for the Joe Milton conversation. That's probably the hottest part of this outside of the Tennessee running game. So let's just jump into that. Thoughts on Joe Milton?
I'm, a little curious. Not blown away. I'm also not saying, 2021 Joe is what we've got. A lot of deep shots. A lot of deep shots that weren't hit. In fact, I don't think he hit one after the early throw to Hyatt. But miserable.
Which on that throw to that throw to Hyatt was arguably underthrown.
It was arguably underthrown. Yeah, it actually was, which is weird. But Hendon Hooker's done that a lot this year as well. So, really makes me curious because the conditions were so bad. There was no Cedric Tillman. No Cedric Tillman. There was very little Jalen Hyatt. In fact, Hyatt had 3 catches. I don't remember the other 2 at this point. But very little Jalen Hyatt. It was a lot of squirrel, Ramel Keaton, Walker Merrill getting in the end zone, which I was thrilled to see.
Yeah.
But again, with these conditions, with it being the 12th game of the year, I guess I'll just need to see a little bit more in that bowl game. And don't get me wrong, I am stoked for the 2023 quarterback battle because, man, if it's not Milton, that means someone young is playing well and practicing well. But if it is Milton, I'm encouraged because he should have just another long stretch of time to iron out those deep balls. And more importantly, so the intermediate stuff and, the stuff across the middle, iron that out and be able to run this offense effectively. I'm really, really excited for it, but not blown away. I'm also not saying he's 2021 Joe.
Yeah, I mean, he was 11 for 21. And on the topic of other quarterbacks, Taven Jackson being hurt at this point really kind of stinks. So that would be valuable reps in practice in order for him to get a shot at next season, especially since we're going to get 2 more weeks for bowl prep. But again, Joe, 11 for 21, $147, 1 score and 1 rushing score. You're looking at me funny. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking at you funny.
Mm-hmm.
Say what?
I'm going to give him credit for that rushing touchdown Princeton Fant had because Princeton Fant got stood up and Joe Milton was like, I watched this game back in the day and they called it the Bush Push. Watch this.
Yeah.
And once Joe Milton gets a hold of it, Princeton Fant starts going forward.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to give him credit for that. 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, no rushing touchdowns, all jokes aside. I kind of feel the same way about Joe. something I hadn't thought about, and I should have, because I basically took those excuses away from CJ Stroud in that Northwestern game. Those wins were high. However, he had lost a lot of his mechanics that day for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was raining pretty hard.
Yeah, it was the whole game.
Yeah, 11 completions, 10 incompletions. Those are not Hendon Hooker numbers, obviously, but that makes me wonder, and it stinks because it's one game and we don't want to build an identity around one game, but it does make me wonder, is this more of our identity under Joe? Are we going to be more ground and pound, like that transition from 21 to 22 Ole Miss, from Matt Corral to Jackson Dart and whatever his first name is, Judkins and all those guys.
Yeah.
So with that said, really pleased with the running game. I mean,
oh my goodness, absolutely.
And we got to give props to the offensive line, because those dudes were just opening up some holes, and it wasn't even really the starters.
Oh, I know. And we were texting, and it was Dane Davis at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Just guys filling in everywhere. Not even remotely, the right side maybe, but that left side was nothing like what our first team was halfway through the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And they were opening up lanes, and my gosh, were they capitalizing on them.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited for that running back room. I mean, I can't wait to watch them, because I don't know that an Ole Miss top transition is possible for 2023, but we've got the dudes as far as the running backs, we've got the dudes. I don't know if we'll provide the scheme for them to do that in 2023, because I just don't know what Josh Heupel wants to do or what kind of step Joe Milton can take. But my gosh, they were fun to watch. I mean, they were busting out NCAA football 2014 runs and numbers. I mean, Jalen Wright was 5 for 160 with 2 touchdowns. 40% of his runs were touchdowns, and they were not short touchdowns. They were long runs.
Right.
And man, he looks like he's maybe becoming as healthy as he's been at points of his career.
Mm-hmm.
He was banged up to start this season, but Dylan Sampson, man, he's got my attention as well. My gosh, he's a blazer.
Yeah.
And he's physical as well. He's not running away from contact at all. Don't know what that tackle attempt was from number 43 from Vanderbilt on that 80-yard run, but it was hilarious.
My gosh.
And Dylan Sampson didn't let him bring him down. So love to see it. And then also, just to top it off, stoked for Jabari Small closing out his regular season that way.
Yeah, I want to comment on that Dylan Simpson run. That reminded me of 1980. I'm serious. I'm serious. Where Georgia is in Neyland, and they hand it off to Herschel, left side of the formation anyway, and Bill Bates takes the worst possible approach to this tackle, and they make Herschel Walker out to be a god after this, which he did run him over, but he should have, considering what Bill Bates did.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, what is that guy doing? Like, what is this Vandy player doing? Like, it's not Herschel, it's Dylan Sampson. Like, he's not big.
Yeah.
So I mean, like try to pop him, but whatever. Hey, there is a stat line out there that is a little alarming. I don't know if you've caught this or not. We were 0 for 7 on third down.
I did not catch that. I completely feel that, though, because it seemed like we were not efficient at all on third downs, 2 for 3 on fourth.
Yeah.
That's fine. And it was third and fourth and short or medium at times as well, is what I think is aggravating for me in that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's part of why I don't know what to make of Joe, because I don't know if there were that many deep shots called, or if that was just the direction that he went. I will say it was obvious on the long ball to Hyatt that nobody else had a route. Nobody at the bottom of the screen had a route. At the time of the throw, at least, they just kind of stopped immediately, which is funny because it was early in the game. It was first drive for Tennessee. But yeah, that is alarming. The efficiency can certainly take a step up from Joe, from the entire unit. That is alarming for sure.
I can tell you this: some of the playbook was leaked. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So the play where only Hyatt ran a route, turns out that play was called Crescent Moon.
That I did hear. Yeah, that play's been on film quite a lot, but Vandy was like, we weren't we weren't advised of that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. And the other two receivers like, well, we know what's happening here, so we're not running.
Yeah.
So we were, however, 2 for 3 on fourth down. We obviously won this game on the ground. I think another telling stat, well, not a telling stat, another exclamation stat, another like, whoa stat is the time of possession. Have you seen this?
Yes, I did.
Man,
it was reminiscent of Kentucky last year.
Yeah. Sorry. I had a brain
Yeah.
fart. Yeah. Vanderbilt held the ball for 43 minutes and 45 seconds. We held it for 16 minutes and 15 seconds, and we won this game 56-0. I just want to say this: the fact that they held the ball for as long as they did and didn't come away with the score. And I will admit, there was an occasion where the ball bounced our way. They ran the fake punt and ended up fumbling.
Yeah.
Which I'm just not real sure what to think. At that point I started thinking, okay, I saw videos of post game Vanderbilt after Florida and about how, they're ready to come after us and they're all motivated and hyped. Man, I just thought outside of Mike Wright, I mean, nobody showed up for them, I thought.
No, I agree. And I think they, a lot of people have made this point, but I just don't know why there was not more rush attempts for Mike Wright, unless he's banged up or something like that. I mean, the dude's a weapon.
But you're fighting for bowl eligibility.
And you're fighting for bowl eligibility. And I understand, the same can be said for Vanderbilt against Kentucky and Florida. They were outmatched in those games, but they fought their butts off. They played a great game.
Yeah.
Those teams helped them out more than Tennessee helped them out. Mm-hmm. Kentucky and Florida definitely made mistakes, but they didn't have much of a pulse on senior night, fighting for bowl eligibility. Mm-hmm. I just don't know what to make of that. They do have some lighter weapons that are not bad. Mm-hmm. With Ray Davis, with the receiver, Will Shepherd. Those guys are capable. And there's others like that on that roster. But, again, I just don't know what to make of their effort on Saturday night with, not a ton on the line, but a bowl game and senior night being the occasion.
Yeah. I honestly think that Will Shepherd is a guy who's going to play on Sundays.
I do too. I agree based on what I've seen from him this year. I mean, heck, he's in the top 3, I think, for SEC receiving yards with, a rotating game of Mike Wright and AJ Swan at quarterback. He's been consistent and he's done it week in, week out.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a frame of 6'3", 200.
Goodness.
He's 60 catches on the year, 776 yards and 9 scores.
Wow.
And considering Vanderbilt's offensive line and quarterback play, the way that they've rotated Wright and Swan, and they've even had a third guy up here, I think, throughout the season. Yeah. So for him to be able to do that, I think is it says something. But do you know he was 3 carries for negative 21 rushing yards?
Mike Wright?
No.
Wow. Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, AJ Swan. I got too happy and think it was Will Shepherd. I don't know. I got so excited. I saw with orange goggles. There's nobody that just that just popped off for them. I mean, their leading rusher was 21 carries for a whopping 60 yards. And I don't know that if it's that we were just that much better than them. I don't really know what the telling plot is here on the outcome of this game. However, it doesn't wipe away that crimson stain of sin that South Carolina left.
Yeah,
but it does kind of make it less crimson. I guess
week 13 did slightly help that with South Carolina, which we'll talk about in our non-OrangeCast. South Carolina beating Clemson, which is equally as shocking to me as what they did to Tennessee.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right. It takes away a little bit of that loss, just ever so little, because the defense played so well, which was a little bit infuriating to me, as we talked about, you and I.
Yeah.
But again, there's no scenario where losing to Vanderbilt in that game was acceptable. So at least that did not happen. The East had already been decided. The playoff was pretty much decided the week before. I mean, it would take absolute, it might take teams no longer being in existence for Tennessee to get in at this point. But
yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, at least they didn't follow it up in the way that they have before within the last decade.
Yeah, no facts. And I think what really helps that South Carolina loss fade away just a little bit. Obviously, it's still there and it lingers, but the Kirk Herbstreit comment and the nervousness that you and I felt going into this, and several other people in our fan base, saying, "Hey, I'm confident, but I'm really nervous." I mean, I kept going back to Reed Carringer on Twitter. He's like, "Yeah, I mean, I think we can win this game, but I'd be lying to you if I tell you I wasn't nervous." So I'm pleased with it. I would like to have seen a better performance out of Joe.
Yeah.
Now, however, he did, like, there was a ball to Ramel Keaton, where for whatever reason, I don't know why Keaton just didn't keep it center field. He tried to turn it the other way, but gosh, that thing was on a rope, on a dime, right on his numbers. There was a series, I forget which one it was, where it was, and the time and place. However, first down, we threw it deep. Second down, we did it again, and Hyatt was like, "I'm out. I'm get me out." So I thought we were committed to try to get Joe another one, maybe even Hyatt another one. I'm not real sure what the thinking was there, or maybe we just saw something, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well, with just the continuation of the deep shots, because I think Joe's game, man, if he can hone in those kind of, like you talked about with that ball to Keaton that was straight up a missile, that can be where he makes his money. I'm not saying, be an NFL quarterback or, anything like that. He can be, but that can be where he makes his bread in the college game at Tennessee next year over the middle. Yes, there's going to be a deep threat. I mean, we've seen Ramel Keaton win battles deep. We've certainly seen Squirrel White do it already. If Jalen Hyatt were to come back, that would be massive, but I doubt it. But we know that he can beat anyone deep. It's also, making its rounds on Twitter. I've seen that Brew McCoy is going to be back. I mean, that's huge for that over the middle, those physical balls that you've thrown to Tillman over your career. That's big. He's not Cedric Tillman, but another year in the weight room, toning that body down, learning the system will only mean good things for Tennessee in 23.
Sure. I mean, we got to give a large credit to Baru for the Alabama win. Everybody replays the field goal, and they replay a bunch of Hyatt's receiving scores. If Brew McCoy doesn't make a spectacular catch, we're going into overtime.
Absolutely,
an absolute spectacular catch. So that'd be huge to have him back. I do want to comment on Jalen Wright for a second. I saw a clip of him 2021. Dude, he's bigger. We have not talked about this. He's thicker.
No. Yeah.
He might have lost a step with his weight, but he's much thicker. And I want to give credit to him because we didn't talk about him enough, I think, going into the season. He's good for 780 yards on the year, bro.
Yeah, dude. Because, there's been at least 2 games, if not more, where Jabari just took a pop on that shoulder early in the game. And it's been the Jalen Wright show followed up by Dylan Sampson. So he's been a warrior. He's been invaluable. I saw the stat, courtesy of Nathaniel Rutherford, I believe, that this is the first time in like 75 plus years that Tennessee's had 2 running backs reach the end zone 10 times. That's phenomenal, because you think about Hurd and Kamara, you think about how loaded we were 20 years ago and within that time frame as well. And phenomenal execution scheme. Those guys are warriors, especially Jabari Small with the injuries that he's had, and then kind of his lack of speed at times. Yeah, but man, I love to see it, and Jalen's been invaluable this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited for him. Excited for year 3 with him. What's going to be coming up for him? So 23, will be hookerless. That's a weird way of wording it. But we got a lot of things to get excited about.
Absolutely.
And while I'm sorry, my brain went here. I know our listening audience is like, man, he's all over the place. I promise
you're good.
Connecting my head. We'll be losing Jeremy Banks. And I think we found out, and I'm not saying Jeremy Banks' presence in Columbia, South Carolina would have changed the outcome, but I think we found out how valuable he was. Yeah. And I'm just not sure how. I can't. I mean, I do recognize that he sees it quick. He's got good top end speed. He's not great back and forth. Yeah. He's good sideline to sideline. He's not great. So I do think he made a difference on
I agree.
Saturday night in Nashville.
I agree. And I think whatever, I don't think it's this incident that Kirk was maybe alluding to with a maybe a fight or whatever. Hoppel mentioned that this was a culture win, and I agree because we've seen Tennessee lose this game. But whatever incident led to Banks not making that trip, on top of him not playing in the game, I think was enough for everything chemistry-wise to be thrown off defensively. The defensive backs were absolutely nowhere. I'm not, they're banged up. I'll at least give them that.
Yeah.
So, I think all that was the recipe for that Saturday night in Columbia. But yeah, Jeremy Banks' replacement has got to play well next year, has got to read things the way that he does and make decisions the way that he does. Will be absolutely critical.
Herring.
Yeah. I am rooting for young Herring to be that guy.
Yeah. Hey, here's another, I think I'm going to make this a thing. Tucker's telling stat.
I like it. Trademark.
We lived in the backfield. We had 13 tackles for loss. Did you know this?
Yeah, I saw that a minute ago, and I was like, wow. I mean, just unbelievable. That's 2021-esque is what that is. 13 tackles for loss.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll finish well as a team there again in that stat. 3 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. Somehow we defended 7 passes, which is, again, a lot of Jeremy Banks not catching picks and things like that. But yeah, I mean, we lived in the backfield. Wesley Walker, dude, on that, just on that one play he made, I think he was maybe thrown from Joe's right arm into the backfield somehow because he was launched out of a cannon.
I'm going to go mute so I can laugh out loud here.
He was back there quick.
Oh my gosh. Hey, honestly, I think that's one of the plays of the game.
Yeah, big.
Because if I remember right, they had converted 2 first downs on that drive. I don't quite remember.
That sounds right.
It's all kind of a blur. But he makes a heck of a play. He reads that. Of course, it wasn't uber difficult to read. I think we kind of saw it coming, but props to him for being brave enough to just shoot back there, make a jump on the cadence, and be in the backfield. So I'm going to transition right here on this, and I'm going to give play of the game to him for that.
Yeah.
Player of the game, I think people want to go Jabari. They want to go Jalen, maybe even our whole backfield and Dylan Sampson. Hyatt was just shy of 100 yards with about 86. I'm actually going to give this to Roman Harrison, though.
Dude, happy for Roman. We kept texting each other that if I could talk. Yeah, that was big, man. Big performance from him. And I texted you this as well, but I don't believe he went through senior day activities. We need that to be a consistent thing in 2023 with the loss of Byron Young.
Yes. 2 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. If I have that right, let me just double check to make sure that I do. Mr. Harrison, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
Now listen, I get it. It's Vanderbilt. I understand. However, this Vanderbilt team was good enough to beat Florida. This Vanderbilt team was good enough to beat Kentucky. Yeah. And they were supposedly motivated. And Roman Harrison, of all people, was like, hey, watch this. So a couple other guys just want to highlight. Obviously, Walker tackled for loss and a half. Solon Page got a TFL. Byron Young got a TFL. Easton got a TFL. Here's a name that we got to mention here. Tyree West with a sack and 2 TFLs. I think he was itching for playing time.
I agree.
Because when he came in, it's almost like he wanted. He was like, "Gosh, it's about dang time." Bailey with a half for a TFL, and that's it. But I mean, 23 is looking good. I mean, Tyree West, Herring. I think even Caleb Perry made a play. Did he not?
I saw him in the game. Let's see. Yeah, he registered.
He's got a tackle. Was that on the punt? I don't remember. I know
I saw him on a defensive drive, so I'm going to lean that way, but it's definitely possible at special teams. Yeah. But I'm excited about his athleticism going forward nonetheless.
For sure. I do want to point out that I don't remember what play it was, but I want to say it was the fumble recovery on the punt. Anyway, Christian Charles, you can kind of see him stretching that left hamstring once the play is over.
Yeah.
The ball has been dead for a few seconds there, so obviously I think that was bothering him.
Oh yeah. No, I think he was in pain, and I think he's been playing through some tweaks for half the year, if not more.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, anything else on Vanderbilt? I'm going to close out with a couple stats here, unless you got anything.
Nothing else on Vanderbilt, man. I mean, just a quick shout out to them for winning 5 games. Didn't
Sure.
That's above their projection. I don't ever root for them or want to see them do that well, but I am impressed, and I'll give them that. Whether they were helped by Kentucky and Florida in beating those teams doesn't matter. They have no business beating them, even Kentucky.
Yep.
They have no business beating either one of those teams, and they did it. And, mildly happy for them, but more so just impressed that they were above their projected win total and finished with 5 wins.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. I wanted to just applaud them on a couple of their stats. Swan and Wright combined to be 22-6 touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad. Combined for 2,200 yards. Davis, their running back, was a hair over 1,000. Wright ran for 500. Like we mentioned, Shepard, he caught just shy of 800. Wow. So, I mean, good for those guys. I'm learning to hate them less. The James Franklin era is getting farther and farther away. Derek Mason era is getting farther and farther away.
Yeah.
Clark Lee doesn't seem to be a jerk. So,
no.
Anyway, back to the Vols just for a second. Couple stats here. I saw this tweet where Alex Golish in September said, the standard here is to be the best offense in the country. Well, we finished the regular season number 1 in the FBS in total offense, averaging 538.1 yards per game and 47.3 points per game.
Man.
And all I know to say is thank you.
Thank you. We broke last year's point total with, I believe, 568 on the year. Just silly. That's a silly number, 568 points in 12 games. And I believe we were at 511 or in that ballpark last year. So basically a game, maybe a game and a half better than that number from last year. Because we probably need to touch on this as well. I've seen Golish mentioned with the Cincinnati. Well, and also preview, we'll be talking about some coaching carousel because it's already fun.
Yeah.
And there's more jobs to be hired.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid that it could include Alex Golish, maybe Cincinnati, something like that. He's earned it, I think.
Sure.
I don't believe that it's as simple for Tennessee as Josh Heupel just saying, run this, run that. I think Alex Golish is a huge part of it.
Sure.
He's been with Heupel for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I do think his replacement may already be on staff with possibly Joey Halsley. You can always look outside. You can, but I don't think you can overlook the staff chemistry that we've got. Not really losing anyone other than the receivers coach from last year. Chemistry is a big thing. They've been together a long time. Looking to keep it going if we can, but I will understand it for sure if Golish gets plucked as a head coach somewhere.
Yeah. Part of this reason this offense has been so successful is the combination of Heupel and Golish in the play calling department. I don't think it's one-sided. I think it's a combo effort. We are 4 and 5 plays ahead. We're not 1 play ahead. We are consistently 4 and 5 plays ahead. And I think that's
everything's
combo
a setup.
Yeah. And
everything's a setup.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take drives to set up things. We'll take a few plays to set up one thing in a drive. I mean, their combination is fantastic. Matter of fact, I was actually thinking about this once you told me that. Oh gosh, what's his head? Took the Georgia Tech job out at Tulane.
Willie Fritz.
Was like, I can see an Alex Golish to Tulane. Yeah, but hey, I don't want to lose him, but if he does, man, all the best wishes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there was a time where Bill O'Brien was in that conversation at Georgia Tech, and I'm just going to say, listen, I think Alex Golish is a better prospect for that job than Bill O'Brien is. With that said, Vol Nation, Jeff Sims is in the transfer portal. If you want a running quarterback, he is there.
Yeah.
He is there. Hey,
I can see Tennessee adding a transfer. I just don't know. His athleticism is fun, but I just don't know if that's the direction they should go.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. With that said, in the department of the offense, we broke the school record. Did you see this? We broke another school record this year for points in a season.
Yeah, that's at 568, right?
Yeah, we broke last year's record.
Yeah. Man, it lived for a long time. Ripped to the 2021 record.
It sure did. Well, hey, that's about all we got. Here's to hope that we see Clemson in the Orange Bowl, which, real quick, turns out South Carolina is a better team than we actually thought they were. That everybody thought that they were, because that is an elite defense that Clemson has. But this is not a normal cast. However, I do want to say props to South Carolina. I mean, they went out and did it, but shame on Clemson, Dabo. It's time to pull the plug on DJU. He can't handle it. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell your mamas and your daddies and your greasy grannies and your side chicks. Oh gosh, I just said that. Your all your peoples about Pandemonium Reigns. If you do have a side chick, Pandemonium is probably about to be in your life because maybe we just exposed you. So, hey, we love you guys. Hope you have a fantastic week. Hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming around the corner. Make sure you buy your missuses something. Here's your warning. All right, that is your warning. We love you guys. God bless. Go Vols.
GBO.
Pandemonium Reigns.